Well, Kino escalation is it's a technical term in the pickup community that refers to the sense of physical touch and touching the right way as opposed to the wrong way. A lot of guys that don't understand social dynamics tend to touch wrong. It comes off like they're trying to get something, and it telegraphs their interest. And of course, we all know that if you telegraph interest before you've created attraction, then you'll turn the girl off. And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to create a sense of comfort with your physical touch. Like, let me see your hand. So for example, instead of hand holding, like let's say you just met some girl and you're standing there in the bar and you kind of reach over and grab her hand. I mean, it's lame, right? But what you've really done here is you've telegraphed interest. Like you're trying to create this boyfriend-girlfriend frame, like we're going to walk down the street swinging our hands or whatever. And so what you really want to do is, all we really want to do, for example, with hand touching, is create a sense of physical comfort between our hands. So that for my hand to touch her hand is normal and comfortable and natural and is part of our relationship, not necessarily that we're hand holding. You know, and as a matter of fact, once we set the frame that it is a normal part of our relationship, then you can hold hands and it's fine. It comes off normal. And so what we tend to do is we have a lot of routines that give you plausible deniability while allowing you to escalate physically. So let me show some examples here. Stand up for a second. Okay. So for example, handshakes routine. Let's say that I'm in set. And I say, do you know the San Diego handshake?
No.
Okay, hold out your hand. And go like this. And like that. But a little more loosen up. Go like this. Good job. All right, go like this. Not like this. Just like, cool. Only not so hard. That hurts. That's cool. All right, do you know the LA handshake?
Yeah.
All right, it's like this. Like that. All right, do you know the New York handshake?
No.
Make a fist. Go like this. Very good. Okay, now go like this. Like that. And then again. And one more time. Usually she'll say, what's that? And I'll say, I don't know, some drunk girl showed me that. Like that. And notice I did a back turn right at that moment. Okay?
So there was Kino escalation taking place.
Right.
And then you rolled off.
And then the roll off.
Right.
Right? Because I don't want to look like I'm trying to get more.
Protect the investment that you've already made.
Right.
You know, that's enough, and now roll off.
Now here's what most guys do. They get maybe hand holding, and they go for like arm around the shoulder, and like they just try and get more and more and more and more, and it's transparent and it's pathetic. And so what I want to do is I want to have a fun little game that, you know, creates a sense of physical comfort that our hands can touch, and that's a normal, natural part of our interaction. It's part of our relationship is that we can touch each other physically. It's cool. What I want to do is create that perception in such a way that if I were to stop touching her, that's what would be weird. Now most guys, they hold off any kind of physical escalation until later on in the set. And the cliche of that is, let's say you go on the first date, and then at the end of the night, you're walking the long walk back up to her door, and then, you know, the big moment's coming for the kiss, and it's kind of like that, you know, that moment, you know. It's very awkward. And there should never be any sense of awkwardness when you're escalating. When you first open the set, from the very early parts of the set, you should feel comfortable touching physically. You know, I'm going to start with shoulder touches and stuff like that. I'm going to get our hands touching. I'm going to get my arm around her, whatever it is. Anytime that I do a move like this, I'm going to have some plausible deniability built in to where it's just a normal part of our interaction. It doesn't look like I'm trying to get something. And then after I do it, I'm going to push it off. Okay? So usually what happens with most guys is the guy creates the tension, and then the girl pushes it away. And the guy creates the tension, and the girl pushes it away. But what we want to do is we want to have a situation where I create the tension, and I push it away. I create the tension, and I push it away. Okay? And so that she's always feeling like, you know, she just didn't quite get enough, and she wants to get a little bit more.
So she's chasing you.
Right. That's right.
And virtually every set that you go into, you will create a situation where she will be chasing you.
That's right.
Always.
Absolutely. I mean, of course, if she feels like she's chasing me, then game over. Or excuse me, if she feels like I'm chasing her, then it's game over. She wins. You know, she didn't even have to put out. Now, one thing else, one other thing that I want to mention here is at any time when I'm doing any kind of escalation like this, if I feel her start to pull away, hand throw. Okay? And I want to do this in such a way that it doesn't look like I was conscious of it. This is a very important point. If it looks like I'm punishing her, it won't work. Okay? It's just like when a guy comes up to a girl in a bar and says, hey, do you want a drink or whatever? And she says, oh, I'm not interested. And then he's like, well, fuck you then. Or you're just a bitch, or you're just a lesbian, or whatever he says. It doesn't really affect her. She's like, it makes him actually just look worse. It just makes him look more pathetic to her. And she's heard it a million times. And so, same thing here. If it looks like I'm throwing her hand away, like, fine, be that way, and like I'm reacting, then it makes me look lower value. And then, she's just going to be grateful that she wasn't interested in me. It's going to confirm her suspicion. But so what I want to do is, if I start to feel any kind of hesitation, I do a hand throw, I want it to look like I didn't really notice it. Like it was just unconscious. Like some unconscious part of my brain made a value calculation and kind of brushed it off without even thinking about it, which is what girls do, right? There's a lot of guys that girls naturally brush off or sort of cut out without even really thinking about it. A girl could shoot a guy down and go home and not even remember that it happened because it becomes habit. So almost like maybe I felt a fly on my arm and I kind of went like this. I'm not necessarily going to remember that I did it. Same thing. So I feel some kind of hesitation, I throw the hand away, but I'm already in the next set, or excuse me, I'm already on the next thread or the next routine or the next thing. I'm not sitting there thinking about how she tried to pull her hand away. Instead, she's the one sitting there thinking about how, oh, he threw my hand or whatever. There are a lot of routines that you can do. When you first go into set, the angle's good here? Maybe like this?
Yeah, just open up a tiny bit.
That's better?
So we can see from here.
That's better? Okay. Jennifer, can you stand up for a second? And you too. There's no escape. Come on. Okay, what I'm going to do is, let's say these girls are in set. When girls are in set, they tend to stand a lot closer together than when guys are in set. And what's going to happen is, when I first open, as soon as I start talking to them, I'm already touching them. Okay? But I don't want it to look like I'm trying to get something. I just want it to look like that's just how I am, which I am. I am naturally like that. And so I'll start with the back of the hand on the shoulder. Okay? Maybe I want to get her attention, and I say, oh, check this out, whatever. Or, hey, guys, get this, right? And then I let go. My hands are cold, huh? It's bad. So, again, I'll say something, I'll touch, and then I'll let go. I'll touch with the back of the hand on the shoulder, but I won't leave it there. This is similar to horse training, actually. If you go up and put your hand on a horse and then let go, you can make the horse get more and more comfortable with your presence. When you first like meet a new horse, that's what they do. They sort of go up and they'll touch the horse and let go. And they'll touch longer and then let go, and so on. But if you just go up and just put your hand on the horse, as time passes, it'll start freaking out. It'll start getting edgy and nervous. And it's the same is true with women. So you start with just little touches here like this. And then the next step is hand claps like this. Just a hand clasping on the shoulder and then letting go. Okay? Another thing that we know, or excuse me, another principle that we know to be true with in terms of physical escalation is that you get away with more if you're not looking. So, for example, I touch the shoulder while I look away. I look back, my hand slides off. I touch the shoulder while I look away. Look back, my hand slides off. Like that. So, for example, if I put my hand on her shoulder while I'm looking at her, it's more intimate. So it's a higher level of escalation. It's the same thing if you put your arm around a girl. If I put my arm around a girl and I'm looking away, I can get away with it a lot more than if I look at her while I'm doing it. It's a lot more intimate. And in other words, it's a lot more creepy if you just met the girl, right? Yeah. If you just met the girl, and some guy comes up to you and he just met you and he goes like this, it feels like he's pushing for something. But if he kind of goes, oh, blah, 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 and then lets go, it's a lot more natural, it's a lot more relaxed and comfortable and so on. Thank you.